Okay, now that we got this, let's we can run another simulation. I think what I might do is not plug in the constraints to see how the pieces fall by themselves. So plug in the proxy there and the full res geometry into the left. Just give it a ground plane. I'm just wondering if we had a bullet solve from earlier. Now we deleted it. Okay, and then we got a camera, haven't we? Yeah. Let's just watch that. So I just stopped it there. Didn't need to simulate the whole frame range, but just to get a sense of a few things. So how the, make sure the pieces are colliding with each other normally, nothing weird going on, no jerky motion. I'm just looking at how these are kind of collapsing on themselves. Also, how long the simulation takes. So that was just kind of a few minutes for 60 frames, which is fine. It's fast enough for me to be able to play around with this. If it was much slower, maybe I would delete half of this tower. If it is, then that's a good idea for yourself while you're playing around with values before, simulating the whole thing, which is quite something I would often do. So let's try adding the constraints in. Now, at the moment, the constraints don't have any attributes to them, right? So we need to do that, otherwise it won't work. So ABD constraint properties, plug that in there. Press escape is trying to do the first frame. Okay, plug the constraints in there. So don't need to worry about groups because we just got the one set of constraints. So we'll leave them at glue, maybe drop the strength a bit. We would like these to be soft constraints after as well. I know it's concrete, but it's nice to have a bit of flex, as if it's got like, well, typically a tower like this will be concrete with metal on the inside with rebar. So I'll plug that in there. Let's just see, it should just hold itself up now. Just run a flip book on that, just see a few frames and see if it falls or not. Okay, just got kind of 20 frames, and we can see, it does have a bit of flex to it. So that tells me that probably the glue constraints are breaking, but that's okay, but it's holding itself up, right? So, when we try to knock it down, it's, we have a bit more control over it, I suppose. One thing we could do, which will speed it up, just drop a delete here. Actually, we'll do this before the constraint properties. Press escape. There we go. Visualize that. I suppose we could do it after. I don't think it matters actually, but and then what I can do here is set this to to primitives, and then delete by range. And just leave it at that. And then basically here what we're doing is deleting half of the primitives. I set the background to dark because we can see them a bit better. You can see we're just kind of randomly deleting half of the primitives, so half of the constraints, right? Which will save simulation time quite a bit. And then also what I want to do then is just kind of have a weak area in the building, like the kind of the fracture point. So just delete the constraints in there, and that's going to be the start of where the where the building collapses from, right? So we'll do this one just with a bounding box, and let's make it bigger. Okay, so not that big. Let's do 50 by 10 by 50. Okay, and then I'm not, if you want to, I don't want to delete a whole kind of floor. I want to delete parts of it so it doesn't just drop straight down. I want it to kind of collapse over a little bit, you know, have a bit of movement to it. So I'll move it up. I'm going to do 70. So it's kind of not halfway, but almost. And then I'm just going to kind of move it over a bit like that. Round the number up to 15. And let's do it, bring it forward a little bit. Okay, so there we got constraints there and there. Okay, on two sides. And so hopefully we'll get, you know, kind of a bit of movement like that. So let's just watch that and see if we get some kind of collapse. Yeah, let's go with that. So I just got 100 frames there. So obviously it doesn't look like a building collapse now. We're getting that flexing from the soft constraints, and you can see the section that I deleted there. But yeah, we need the bottom part, we need it holding together before, you know, we need this to be the cause of the collapse, not just collapsing anyway. So yeah, a few things we could do, you know, we could make that glue stronger, or I think we'll be making part of this inactive as well, the lower part. So that means, you know, there won't be so much weight. You know, it will be like a third of the weight. So we'll try those, and you know, we'll get there eventually.